Alright, solving equations and inequalities 4.4. So, solve and justify one variable inequalities. Okay? So, remember with inequalities, we treat them just like equations. There's just one difference. If we divide or multiply by a negative number, then you have to reverse the sign, or reverse the inequality symbol, the less than or greater than. Okay? So in number 3, we've got negative 5 times x is less than 35. Okay? So we're going to divide by negative 5. What justification do we have? Well, the division property of equality tells us that if we divide, they maintain that, in this case, that inequality. Okay? So that becomes 1. So we get 1x. Now here's this right here. Because we divided by a negative 5, we get a negative 7. This inequality, instead of less than, we have to change to greater than. Okay? Then if we remember, we can get rid of that 1 using the multiplicative identity of 1. Okay? Alright, number 4, we've got x plus 68 is greater than or equal to 75. So we subtract 68 from both sides. That becomes 0, so x plus 0 is greater than or equal to 75 minus 68 would be just 7, right? So we use the subtraction property of equality to do that. Then to get rid of that 0, we use the additive identity of 0 to get x is greater than or equal to 7. Okay? And that's all we do on these. Okay, so number 5 and 6, now we've got a few steps that we need to do. So, first we got 2x, 2 times x minus 4 is less than or equal to 10. First we're going to add 4 to both sides using the addition property of equality. Okay, that becomes 0, so 2x plus 0 is less than or equal to 14. Then using that additive identity of 0, we get 2x is less than or equal to 14. So we do the opposite, the inverse operation, divide by 2. We get 1x is less than or equal to 7, using the division property of equality. Then using that multiplicative identity of 1, we just make x is less than or equal to 7. Alright, so number 6, same idea. Okay, subtract 5 from both sides. That becomes 0, but we'll skip that step and get negative 4x is less than or equal to 17 minus 5 is 12. We use the subtraction property of equality to do that. Divide by negative 4. Because we're dividing by a negative 4, we now reverse the inequality symbol, and we get 1x, which we know is just x. So we use the division property of equality to do that. 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. Alright. Okay, 7 and 8. 7, we've got x divided by a negative 3, so we're going to times by a negative 3. Okay, that becomes 1, so we're left with x. Okay, now, because it was a negative, we reverse the inequality. And then, if you didn't know, negative 10 times 9, or divided by 9 times negative 3, you'd put it under 1, multiply across the top. It's a positive 30 over 9. Well, 30 is like 6 times 5, right? Or actually, let's think about it as 3 times 10 again. Let's split that up. 3 times 10. 9 is like 3 times 3. 3 over 3 is 1, so we'd get 10 over 3. Okay? So, using the multiplication property of equality, we come up with, could put 30 over 9. Then we're going to simplify that. Okay? And we get 10 over 3, or 3 1/3, or 3.333 repeated. Either one of those I'll accept. Alright, now number 8. So first we want to times, so using the distributive property of equality, we get 2x minus 6, because 2 times x is x, 2 times negative 3, negative 6, less than or equal to 3x minus 2. Okay, Now I'm going to subtract a 2x from both sides. On this step, there's multiple paths we could take, but I like this one. Get negative 6 is less than or equal to 3 minus 2 is just x. Minus 2, we use the subtraction property of equality. Add 2 to both sides. We get negative 4 is less than or equal to x, because that becomes 0. So we use the addition property of equality. And there's our answer. Alright, on number 9 and 10, it wants us to solve and then graph the solution. So to solve, we'd add 8 to both sides. So I get x is greater than negative 12. So I go to negative 12, okay, and I draw a circle. Oops, wrong way. Negative 12. Then I have to decide, is it a shaded in or a hollow circle? Well, if I look under here, is there an equal to? There isn't, so it's a hollow circle. Now, then I decide which way do I shade, to the right or to the left. Well, here it says x is greater than negative 12. Greater is always to the right, so I shade to the right. And there's number 9. Okay, number 10, x plus 11 is greater than 13. Subtract 11, we get x is greater than 13 minus 11 is 2. I go to positive 2, draw a circle. There's no equal to underneath there. So, and x is bigger. So again, we shade to the right. Well, there we go.